Team Deathmatch.
My name is Insane Raven, and today I'm bringing you a review of AwesomenessTv's Foursome. Now, Season 2. Now, if I'm going to review Season 2, I gotta tell you a little bit about Season 1. Because Season 1 was pretty good. I'm not gonna lie, I thoroughly enjoyed Season 1. I enjoyed the characters it presented. They were wacky, they were cliches, but like they kind of weren't at the same time. Where the fuck am I going? But it was an enjoyable thing to watch, and I really did revel in the show. Even though the premise is stupid and everything about it is stupid, I'm not gonna lie and say I wasn't invested in the show, and that's why I was very excited to see a Season 2 so quickly. Probably should have held it off on that enthusiasm. Now, you see, the main premise of the show is simple. The main character, Andy Fixer, wants to have sex, but her brother is a dick and won't let her. Being that I don't ever see any parents in the show, I'm gonna assume they both died, and that's why. But I don't know. It's just a super strange thing.
Drone support is active.
Anyway, not important. Andy has this big crush on her brother's best friend, Josh, and it's weird. Okay, that's all I can say. It's fucking weird. Fast forward to Season 2, and Season 1 has kind of left some possibilities open, and there's good things all around, and there's happy-go-lucky feelings, and yay, everyone's happy that this girl might get fucked. Yay! Well, Season 2 comes along, and you feel free to kiss that good feeling goodbye. A new character shows up. I forgot his name. I'm not going to look up his name because it's not that important to me at this point anymore. And Andy immediately falls for him. Now, okay, cool. Show some character development. She's into new guys. This guy, however, is such a cookie-cutter, like, heartthrob character that it's pathetic. Like, this, the only thing that stops him from being literally any other attractive new character on a teen drama like this is the fact that he's Australian. Most of the time, he's British. So, I don't know. So the show starts off. So Season 2 kind of surrounds Andy with this new guy and the new possibilities of what could happen with this new guy. And the thing, I will give them credit. They did enhance the show where it needed to. Well, the rest of the titular foursome kind of just seems to be their Season 1 and kind of just main support for Andy, which is great and all. And I understand that's their premise. It kind of makes it for very boring characters. So Season 2, for some reason, they were like, yeah, we didn't quite like that. How about if we gave all 4 characters their own little story arc that they're going to do throughout Season 2, regardless if we have time for it or not. And spoiler alert, they don't. Let's start with probably the most offensive out of them, and we'll kind of work our way up to the better one. The best of the not Andy storylines. Plot lines. Okay? Dakota. Dakota in Season 1 is this witty, like, have sex with anyone, doesn't need to have someone to make him feel complete. He just likes sex, and he's gay, and he's fantastic. Season 2 Dakota is a desperate, needy, annoying bitch who needs desperately this one guy and won't stop until he has this man. See, that premise alone would be enough for me to hate what they did to Dakota. Throw into the fact that the reason why it's such a big deal is because this guy happens to be a substitute teacher, and I kind of want to throw up. Not only is that as a future teacher on my behalf kind of disgusting, but second, like, that's your teacher, man. Like, show some class. Like, why? Needless to say, he becomes basically obsessive about this man to the point where Andy literally uses it against him multiple times in season 2 to kind of get him to do the kind of random bullshit that she wants him to. The biggest reason I have a problem with this and why I hate this so much is because it's so against more or less the entire character of Dakota we were given in season 1. So, they completely ruined Dakota. Good job. Second, let's move on to Imogen. Imogen's story is quite simple. She's never really fit into school, and she feels like she needs to kind of go back to homeschool. That's her big conundrum. So, what's the problem here? The problem here is that it's boring, and it is the greatest story that has the most obvious showing that they did not have time for 4 different stories. Frankly, they just didn't have time to put 4 different stories in 10 episodes. That's right, they tried to do 4 different stories in a 10 episode spree, while also trying to keep everything connected. It just doesn't work. So Imogen's story is the greatest example of this. Rather than being something that is memorable and something that could have been really interesting in the whole, like, well, who am I now? Like, am I who I was when I started coming to school here, or am I someone new? And they do even play a lot with this idea of, no, she is this new person with some of the relationships she creates. But then, so even if I'll give you that, this whole storyline completely negates the fact that she's grown as a character. And it just boggles my mind why you would have these crappy decision making when it comes to this character. Keep in mind, she was a forgettable character in season 1, and I don't know.
Report to command for D.
How she was used is so abysmal, in my opinion. It shines even more of a light that she wasn't used in the first season. That how they used her in season 2. It's, in my personal opinion, kind of pathetic. Alright, next character. Courtney. Now, Courtney in the first season is a very annoying character who is madly and deeply in love with her boyfriend. You know what? Good for you, girl. Well, season 2 kind of changes that, and through a number of things I'm not going to spoil for you, just in case you do want to go see it, do want to go watch all 10 episodes, because they're all live now. She goes through a couple of things that just make her grow as a person. And honestly, out of all 4 stories, this is the one that I'm most interested in. The one that I feel was given the most care and the most attention, even over Andy's. And I wish that even though what they've done with her isn't as good as it could have been, even though the whole show isn't as good as it could have been, I do feel like they do miss a couple of opportunities, and it's just disappointing. Alright, so now that we've covered all the plot problems I have with this, because there are a lot of them, I do want to talk about the show as a show. The show as a show, and I do mean like not considering plot or like what is the show essentially. The show doesn't know what the show is. It has a huge case of mistaken identity. There are some episodes where it tries to be this really funny, like after school teen sitcom like thing, and I could get behind that. For me, it seems to be the format that works the best for the show, and something that just, in my opinion, makes sense for this kind of show, for this kind of content. That format makes the most sense to me. Then it tries to be a
We've lost the lead.
edgy sex ed course thing, which just feels awkward and just uncomfortable. It's not that the topics that they're talking about are all about sex and putting where and what happens when a girl has a period. It's just uncomfortable to watch. It's a complete tonal shift, and it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense in the fact that they literally bring out a whiteboard and talk about like whatever the topic is of that episode, and it's mind-boggling. Then it also tries to be a serious like drama where it comes down to like will they won't they type deal, and that could work if everything else wasn't there, if all the other problems with the show weren't blatantly there. And the thing that's, again, so mind-boggling is that most of these problems did not exist for the first season. Even if when they did break into the one whiteboard session that was in the first season, it makes sense with what's given, and then this time it just doesn't. So not only does this show have a mistaken identity, not only does this show have too much plot, like too much bullshit plot that can barely be considered as plot, not only does this show completely destroy its characters, but all the groundwork it's set in the first season. There's an episode, which this episode I'm gonna spoil because it's such bullshit and it confuses me even more, which I didn't think was possible. There's an episode where the three main girls have synced their periods. It's a weird episode, it's a stupid episode, it's a fun episode, right? For some reason, maybe it's because the nature of them being all in sync, they decided to make the entire episode one big in sync reference with like dramatic head turns every time someone said a reference, and one of the members of NSYNC being in the episode. Now, don't think that I don't like NSYNC. First off, they would be on my time, which makes it even weirder because who the fuck are you trying to get to watch the show? Stop confusing me, pretty please. And I enjoy almost cheesy references, but when it's so cheesy and it's so in your face of like, hey, we know what NSYNC is, it kind of just pissed me off the entire episode. I was like, oh, haha, real funny, you did it again. Good job for you. The entire season, past the second episode, where they really start getting into what this season's gonna be about, it's just a train wreck. Like, I don't know how else to describe it, but watching Foursome Season 2 was just a train wreck of a show. And even though all shows by Netflix, the Netflix Red Originals, aren't made by AwesomenessTV, it does kind of make me very concerned on if any of these shows can really hold up a second season. A lot of them are based off of these silly little points like Foursome, and I think Foursome's complete and utter failure of a second season of making any sense and of being fun really does kind of make you wonder how the rest of this is gonna go. I mean, shows like Red and Link's Buddy System and Escape the Night by Joey Ferreira, or whatever the fuck his name is. I'm sorry, I mispronounced your name. I am sorry. Do not crucify me. Thank you. They're based off these like one-off concepts, and I'm worried that, as we saw with Foursome, that a season 2 is not gonna go well. And I think it's something that YouTube Red really ought to consider if they're going to do this kind of, make these kind of like series shows. As much as I love the game theorists, but I would even kind of put Game Lab in this category. I mean, where do you go after you've done that? Do you make like a Mythbusters type show where that's what you keep doing every week? Or every episode, which personally I'm fine with, but not everyone is going to be.
Enemy warden incoming. Take cover. The enemy.
I think, if anything, the Season 2 of Foursome really kind of puts what we can expect from YouTube Red in scope. The reason why this was never really done before was because YouTube is just very simply not the place for it. And there have been some amazing successes. Like, right now I'm watching Minefield by Vsauce, and I am loving it. I am loving every minute of it, and I can't wait to do a full review on the entire show when I've been able to process the show as a whole. Paranormal Action Squad was another great show that I just didn't get the chance to talk about because by the time I watched the final episode, it was like 3 weeks out. And other shows like this, but this is concerning. And YouTube Red, you gotta look at it. But that's just my opinion. If you guys saw Foursome Season 2 and you liked it, tell me what I'm missing, because I might be missing something. If you guys know of any other YouTube Red originals that you would like me to review, leave the comment down below. And as always, my name is Insane Raven, and I'll see you guys in the next episode of IR Reviews. Bye-bye.